You had it going well there until that last bit, guys. What the hell? So, when people think of franchises that were introduced on the original PlayStation, the big one that comes to mind is the survival horror genre. However, people often forget that there were some other genres that really made it big on the PlayStation. Another big one would definitely be the stealth genre. But not with the game that you guys would probably think, though that is the game that would ultimately popularize the stealth genre, and yes, we will be looking at that one at some point. There is another game that was attempting to be a stealth action game long before MGS came out, and that game is called Tenchu Stealth Assassins. So, the plot of this game is pretty basic. You take the role of one of two ninjas and undertake a series of assassination jobs on behalf of the local lord. All the while, a nefarious new power starts moving in who is planning to, take over. There really isn't much to the plot of Tenchu, though there is a surprising level of character to this one. There actually is some replay value in going back and playing through the game again as the different character that you didn't play as the first time, because there are differences between them. The male ninja you can play as is much more honorable, and as a result, things happen differently when he encounters his targets versus when the woman you can play as encounters them, who tends to have a smarter mouth and, seems to be eager to fight, whereas the male ninja is more honorable. For example, there's one point where you have to assassinate what I think is an advisor to the emperor, and if you play as the male ninja, he'll actually convince the man to commit seppuku, whereas you play as the woman ninja, and she will basically goad him into a fight that he is more than happy to give her. Really surprising level of character there, and that's not something you see too often in games these days. These days, if you have multiple playable characters, they often just go through the same thing as the other character. As for the presentation, there really isn't much that sets the game apart from other games of the subject matter. Even before Tenchu, there were plenty of games I can think of that focused on ninjas, samurais, feudal Japan, supernatural stuff with that subject matter as well. Even for the time, that wasn't special. But what made Tenchu stand out was the fact that something like this had never been depicted in such a gritty, violent, and real manner. And, very bloody, too. This is a game that is very, very prominently wearing its rated for mature rating. It's not uncommon for you to finish off an enemy and listen to them fall to the ground as they basically drown in a pool of their own blood. It's very hardcore stuff, and it's even shocking today. I'm surprised they got away with this back in the day. Now, it does make the game memorable. However, where you start to get into issues with it is in regards to the gameplay. Tenchu is trying to be a stealth game, so the idea in the game is to stay hidden, avoid confrontation, and only take out the targets that you absolutely have to. However, that's easier said than done because, the game works off a line of sight, but because of how certain things are designed in the game, it doesn't really work out too well. The draw distance in this game is just awful, and what sucks about that is the draw distance is often further away than what you can actually see. So it's not uncommon for enemies to spot you before they spot you, before you spot them. So it made stealth very, very, very difficult. As you can see here, there are ways to do it, but most of the time I was only able to stay out of sight if there was some verticality that I could work with, take to the rooftops and stay up there as much as possible. instead of, running around on the ground and trying to get into combat. As far as the combat is concerned, honestly, it's not that bad. It's mostly just button mashing, and it's really only difficult if you're dealing with multiple enemies at once. Otherwise, it's a pain in the butt because, it's harder to fight multiple enemies in this game. If you can get behind them and take them out, that's basically what you should do. One thing I do like about Tenchu, though, is that before each mission, you have the option to pick what you want to take into the mission with you, kind of like in the Thief games, and that can definitely help you out, and also encourages replay value, because if one approach isn't working for you, you can try another approach. Regardless of the issues that Tenchu has, it actually was a really popular game when it released. And it's funny to think that when the developers brought the idea to Sony and Activision, they actually didn't want to make the game. They actually had to make the game on their own dime for a while because, Sony just didn't want to front the money for it, and neither did Activision. But when the game came out, it was such a huge hit that they were basically begging the team to make a follow-up, which they eventually did with Tenchu, Birth of the Stealth Assassin, which was a little bit better, though it still suffered from a lot of the same issues that the first game had. There were several other games in the Tenchu series that would come and go as the years went by, but none ever reached the success of that first game on the PlayStation 1. And unfortunately, I don't think this game is going to be getting a new game anytime soon, because people don't really look too fondly on Tenchu Stealth Assassin these days in retrospective. I wouldn't say that people hate the game. There's still plenty of people who have nostalgia for this one, but as far as stealth games from this time period goes, this is not the first one I would recommend. On the PlayStation, I would definitely recommend Metal Gear Solid over this, and, Hitman, Thief, those are the games you should be playing instead of this if you want to see where stealth really got its start. But that's going to do it for this one, guys. Tune in tomorrow as we continue on with the PlayStation Retrospective.